Hello, everyone. Sufit here. I'm here today with Charles B. Ticker, a state mediator and the author of the popular book, Bobby Gets Bupkis, Navigating the Sibling Estate Fight. Welcome, Charles.
Hi, Sophie.
So, in a past interview, I remember you mentioned once that in your estate mediations, one of the first things that you like to do is get to know the participants, the people, their backgrounds, and how did they end up where they are. And I thought it'd be interesting to turn the tables today and ask you those questions. um, get to know a little bit about your background and how you ended up where you are today. How about that? You ready to go?
Okay, all right. We can
Okay.
try.
So when you were a little kid, 4 or 5, you told your parents, "Mommy, when I grow up, I want to be a mediator," right? That's true, right?
Of course. I mean, and if I would have said that, she would have said, what the heck's a mediator? No, I think I probably would have said I wanted to be Davy Crockett or a firefighter. Yeah, I wanted to be a
A
firefighter.
firefighter. So that's
Yeah,
5. And then like
yeah.
maybe 10, 15, you're a little bit older. What did you want to be then?
10 or 15?
Yeah.
I don't know, probably wanted to be a hockey player. I remember I wanted to be a lumberjack.
A lumber. Why would you want to just to wear the
Oh yeah,
cool
because
shirt?
they were big and strong and chopped down trees and wore high heels and
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So Davy Crockett lumberjack, and then you get a little older, maybe university age, and then and now it starts to get real. What did you want to be?
Well, it's interesting because when I was in university, I don't know how it is now. I mean, I think kids have their lives planned out by the time they're 12 or something. But most of us, when we went to university, like we didn't know what the heck we wanted to do, and try to figure it out. I thought I really wanted to be a pediatrician. So actually, when you asked me when I was younger what I wanted to do, and I was being a little I was joking around there. I did always want to be a doctor. I was fascinated
A
by
doctor.
a doctor, yeah. I was, Marcus Welby, MD, and all that. So, I remember I interviewed my pediatrician for a school project in the fifth grade. Uh, he
Why
was
did you
actually,
want to be a doctor?
why did I want
A
to be a
pediatrician.
doctor?
Why?
I know I just
A
liked
pedi.
helping people. I
Yeah.
guess it's just something that appealed to me. So I guess.
And why pediatrician?
Um, well, by the time I was in university, I'd already, started working as a youth advisor and a camp counselor. I just liked working with kids.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
So did you ever pursue that?
I did. I applied, I took sciences at University of McGill and after, blowing up a couple things in the chemistry lab and I decided maybe I'll go into psychology. It's a little less dangerous, but still thought I'd apply to medicine. Anyway, so I applied to medical school. They didn't see, how great I was, so they didn't accept me. But I
But
also
law
applied
did.
it.
But law did.
So you needed a fallback, What are you going to do? I'll try law. I had never had an interest in being a lawyer. I mean, other than watching lawyers in movies and TV, Perry Mason, all that stuff. I never really wanted to be a lawyer. You got kids now coming out of the womb, I want to be a lawyer, but no. Anyway, so I figured I got to do something. So anyways, it turns out I got into a bunch of law schools and ended up going to Oscott, and I really enjoyed it, and I was pretty good at it.
What did
Knew
you like
that
about it?
I just thought the professors that I had were brilliant. I really liked the intellectual stimulation, and it was interesting. It was also a little intimidating because like I was a good student at undergrad, but when you go to law school, like everybody is top students, right? So the competition was a little fierce. So, but I made some very good friends, and I did very well. So I enjoyed that. It was a challenge, but I just enjoyed the reasoning, trying to figure out what judges were doing, and even got to guest lecture in my contracts class with uh, my contracts professor. Always, he became a Superior Court Justice, Ed Bellababa. Let me, he taught me contracts, and he was brilliant. And what was really more amazing, he was only maybe 3, 4 years older than me. I said, "Oh my God, he's so brilliant!" But so he actually let me guest lecture one of his classes, which was while I was a student, which was really fun. So it
Very,
was just,
very cool.
yeah. So law school, it wasn't like paper chase for me. It was a good experience, and I
I read
found
that
out,
book actually. I read that book. That's a good book.
yeah. Well, I think I only saw the movie, but
Oh,
but
wait a minute. No, I'm thinking of 1L was the book I read. It was a
yeah,
TV or a movie. Yeah, I remember.
yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, did you ever have a summer job in law or before?
Yeah, tuition was very expensive in those days. I think it was under $1,000. Can you imagine what it is now? It's $20,000 here. Anyway, so yeah, so at Osgood, we had a community legal aid clinic called Parkdale Community Legal Services that worked out of the poor area of Parkdale in downtown Toronto. So I worked there 2 summers, doing like paralegal work as a student, and I also took one full semester. Like that was one of the things that attracted me to Osgood is they had this hands-on program that you could actually spend a semester doing clinical training, hands-on, as opposed to just reading books. So yeah, that was great.
And were you ever called on to mediate anything, during your time at Parkdale?
Yeah, I probably on many occasions, one that sort of stands out as I guess my first exposure to mediation or how to, because I always say as a mediator, you want to cool the temperatures and hold the calm, right, of people in conflict. So I guess my first experience as a mediator, although I didn't know I was mediating, is that we used to meet clients in these little open-ended cubicles that weren't like offices. And I was meeting with a woman who came in to see me because her husband had assaulted her and she wanted assistance in finding shelter. So while I was interviewing her, her husband walks in and he pulls a knife on us. And I just remember screaming, saying, "Put that knife down. You can't do that in here. This is a legal office. What are you doing?" And then he was so startled that I was yelling, that he put the knife away. And I think he just ran out the door. I don't think the police were ever called. So there I was mediating. Actually, I didn't know what the heck I was doing, but I was holding the calm.
Holding the calm. Okay. Well, this is actually quite fascinating. You wanted to be a pediatrician. You ended up as a lawyer, and then why the shift from law to mediation?
Um, well, once again, when I was practicing law for the good part of my career, mediation was not mainstream. It was not taught at law school like it is now. And I just, when we started doing mediations, I just saw the benefit to the parties of getting out of these terrible, expensive, and emotionally trying lawsuits. And I discovered that I really enjoyed doing them as an advocate. And then as you get a few gray hairs, people say, yeah, maybe you can try being a mediator. And I found that I really enjoy it. Sometimes you can spend almost a lifetime trying to figure out what you're passionate about uh, or what you really enjoy. And so it was just sort of an offshoot uh, of my legal practice, I guess.
So it sounds like you've come to the thing that you were meant to be doing.
I think so. Other than, I wanted to be a rock star, but, the pay
Well, I
wasn't
hear
good
you're
enough,
still doing that on the side, right? You
Yeah,
still
yeah.
play.
Yeah, that's why I tell everybody I'm a mediator by day, want to be rock star at night.
All right. Well, there you have it. Our guest today has been Charles B. Ticker, estate mediator and author of Bobby Gets Bubka's Navigating the Sibling Estate Fight. Charles, thank you very much for the behind the scenes look at your life.
My pleasure. Thank you.